so long as like alchemy.
All right, it's been well publicized that the Warriors did not visit Donald Trump in the White House, and all this political, athletic talk over the last few weeks has been, interesting, and I don't really think it's subjective. We're in America. Everybody has a right to their opinion. You don't have to just dribble the ball. And, if you don't want to listen, don't listen. Do I particularly myself care about the political opinions of a LeBron James or a Steph Curry? No, I don't. I don't give a damn. But, they have the right and the platform to speak out for what they feel is right. So more power to them. Alchemy rant done. Warriors in the nation's capital. Now, clearly, Andre Iguodala has stepped it up. He's proven me wrong, and I'm glad to be wrong. But the final piece in this puzzle is this man Draymond Green hitting that top of the key three. We all know in the playoffs that he's going to have to knock that down at some point. Teams are going to continue to yield that, and he just needs to get it at a respectable rate. You see JaVale McGee with the block and then the transition dunk leading out. This Warrior team started this game very alert. Now, I would argue the one who has benefited the most from the absence of John Wall is one Otto Porter. Remember, he signed a near max deal in the summer, got the big payday, and he just probably hasn't developed some of the other tools you would like him to be as a versatile scorer. While Wall is so ball dominant, you see him with the pull-up. Draymond gets the block on Beal off the switch, and I had mentioned Clay kind of wanting to put the clampers on Bradley Beal. Let's not forget that last time they were at Oracle Arena, Beal got in Draymond's face, ripped his jersey, and acted like he wanted to go chest to chest with him. We know he doesn't want that smoke. Look at Clay pick him up at half court. And one of the things that goes maybe underrated about matching up with Klay Thompson is on this end, yeah, he may not handle the ball, but he's running you through screens relentlessly all night long. So the amount of energy you have to expend in a matchup against Klay Thompson can test your mental and physical endurance. Steph, that's just too far out on float. I don't know if he's just experimenting or maybe he's just distracted with all the extra things that have been going on around the team with this trip to D.C. But there was a lot of quick hands and transition baskets early on, a very good clean start. Like I said, they were active and alert. Here's Steph jumping in the passing lanes, and he needs to learn a Euro step. You see, that's a very difficult finish, and an easy 1-2 Euro step there is more than likely going to draw an and one finish and not that much contact either. The Wizards and Otto Porter took advantage of JaVale's lack of communication in these double picks. It's a very familiar play. Gortat sets a screen on ball and then goes and sets another screen. And McGee wasn't coming out on the perimeter or communicating that to Durant early on. Morris, the three ball. This team is designed for modern basketball. They're just not that talented. Steph, triple threat, hits that, but that was about the only thing that went right for him in this first half of basketball. Now, McGee wasn't the only culprit in this double screen action. KD wants to switch right here, but Steph doesn't do so. You see KD pointing there. Now, McGee, if he jumps up too early, that's an easy lob for Gortat, so he's got to stay home. And then at this point, it yields a wide open three for Porter. So KD and Steph have a lack of communication, and they're switching defense a lot of the time as well. McGee left out to dry on that play. You're always going to get maximum effort for Draymond, but what he's been quietly doing is working on the subtle nuances of his game. Now, watch this little touch pass. He's had so much trouble with that throughout the season. He put less air under it, and it was much more accurate and gave KD more time to finish. Now, we all know he loves to throw the lob, but he knows teams know that too, so then he gives JaVale a little shovel pass, much more efficient play. So Draymond quietly working on his game and becoming more efficient as the season goes on. Now watch Klay do this work. He's up into him. He's physical. He's got the strength, the length advantage. He goes over the screen, and then a side challenge just bothered Beal all night long. So sometimes you hear basketball IQ. Let's watch Nick Young here. Now he switches on Mahimi, right? Zaza picks up the cutter. Now that's on Nick to get back out there. You think Zaza's going to chase him out to the corner? And that's when we're talking about basketball IQ. Understand that you've got to switch back in that situation. And Nick Young, it's hard at this point in his career for him to understand and pick those habits up. KD, another three ball. And I think he recognized early on that Washington wasn't selling out on our three-point shooters like we see on most nights, and it opened up clean looks. Iguodala continued to look like he's fooled me, and hey, I'll take it. Out in transition. The game was at a nice pace. Now watch Nick Young on ball. He has no problem playing defense when he's guarding the ball, right? Because he has to be dialed in. It's when he's off the basketball, and that was a very reminiscent D-Wade, LeBron-type lob. Remember in Miami, I feel like they had at least one of those a night. I'd like to see more of those from the two MVPs. Steph, the reload three. Now, he had 2 threes in this first quarter, But we all know he didn't seem to have his normal rhythm. Now watch David West get switched out on the perimeter. He blocks the three-point shot, and then he doesn't even let Meeks get off another one, and that's going to be so huge in the playoffs when I think he's going to get some more minutes, and all these three happy teams we're going to be facing are going to be testing our bigs on the perimeter. Watch this dribble handoff drive here to Iguodala, and the fact that he's taking it, I just love it. Because he'll hit it enough when he's taking it confidently that it's going to open up the spacing on the floor for the second unit. Speaking of second units, though, this Wizards second unit, Tim Frazier, Oubre Jr., Mahimi, Mike Scott, they came in the game and they just played a little bit harder. They got very aggressive. You see Scott with the dunk here, and they got Washington back in this game after an early push from the Warriors. And you know I'm a big proponent of hard fouling a guy that's on fire or going, and Mike Scott is too, apparently hip-checking, cross-checking KD, and I was like, maybe we got to put Zaza in. Okay, Mike Scott, I see you. Maybe we should just put Zaza in here for a couple minutes, you feel me? But, you know, I'm always cautious, especially of KD in D.C. with his history. That's just not fair right there. He took the young boy into the classroom. More David West in his defensive prowess. This is just knowing tendencies. You see him gap Morris and then challenge. That's because he knows what Morris likes to do, and he's done his homework. Now, one thing in this game that was a little alarming was Washington out-rebounded us by 14. And they killed us on the offensive glass. They've got the big backup point guard in there, and they've got active athletes. And every time they made a run, it was usually off multiple shot attempts due to offensive rebounds. Now, you know I got to throw a Jordan Bell highlight in here. His lone basket of the night was the right-handed flush. And hopefully he can get some extended run in this Atlanta game Friday night. Now watch Steph. As he declines into that jumper, he slows down, and that definitely breaks his rhythm. Here's Steph and KD again with a miscommunication. No, you switch. No, you switch. Oh, my bad. Leaves Morris open, who had 16 points. And I like him as a stretch forward. But if he's starting for you playing 37 minutes a night, I know they have some injuries, that's problematic. Now watch Steph, 6 turnovers on the night. This one gets deflective, so that could be argued as a forced turnover. But a lot of them were just poor decisions. Porter makes him pay in the corner. All of a sudden, Washington's in this game, and look at Steph here. This is a decision. Morris is not a shot blocker. You've got to take that at him on the left side there, and he makes a low skip pass, and you see him wearing it on his body, but it just was an off night for the chef. This was my favorite play of the night right here. Time winding down to end the half. Iguodala accelerates, attacks Oubre, and finishes with the left hand. If he can give us that, we're going back to back. So a close game to open up the third, and I don't know what Durant's percentage is in the corner three ball, but I think he needs to shoot more of them because I don't ever really remember him missing them. He loves the corner three ball, that shorter shot. Steph, step back, fading left, and that's an air ball. And that one, he was contested, but Bailey, I see what you're saying. There's several jumpers here in the second half where he's leaning to his left a bit. This time he pulls up, and Killa's going to make him pay. That transition three ball. Despite the score being close to start the half, you could tell in the first couple of minutes, oh, we good. We good. You could see the energy. There's the FDHO, fake dribble handoff, and Draymond takes full advantage, clapping it at the rim. This is where JaVale is his best as a defender. Don't take yourself out of the play, JaVale. You know when he overcommits to things and it takes himself out of the play, there he's able to stay within the play and then ends up getting the shot block. Watch Draymond, the aggressor on defense. I love the bum rush. That's something that we need to see more of from our weaker defenders in Steph Curry and Nick Young. Be the aggressor. Don't always be defensive on defense. Be offensive. There's the pick, the prod, and then he throws it up barely. A lot of these transition baskets were kind of ugly with the exception of the Steph KD lob early on. And then here with 5:19 in the third, Bradley Beal gets his first shot, off an illegal screen, by the way. But Clay really did his thing. Here's Otto Porter off the dribble, gets the N1, and cuts this thing down to single digits. And this is what I'm talking about with Porter. With less wall, he's able to handle the ball and kind of develop some on-ball skills. Steph's had enough. He realizes the jumper's not going, and he snakes his way to the rim. Backdoor cut, KD, he gets one a game, right? And it felt like every time Washington made a run, Golden State was like, not so fast. The camera didn't even catch this. Steph steals the inbounds and hits a three. It's funny what happens when you're not thinking and you just react. Sometimes it goes in for you. Look at this defense, though. This is what I'm talking about. You see Steph be the aggressor. Look at him get into Beal's space. You can't always be retreating and letting the offensive player get comfortable. So I liked how Steph finished the game with an aggression, even though he was struggling with his touch. And I want to shout out Draymond for this flop. This was one of the better flops we've seen this season. Now, don't get me wrong. There was contact made. But if there was substantial contact made, he would have been busted open. He would have been lumped up or busted open with a big boy like Mahimi. And he just felt, he got tapped on the face and he flopped. And the timing was, this was Ginobili-like floppage right here from Draymond. But either way, I'm glad he wasn't busted open. We don't need that. It's not like that would help Draymond's looks at all, right? But ultimately, like I had mentioned in my first take video, I think the story of this game was the defensive end. And that's what really won them the game. Here's another ugly transition offensive opportunity. Klay makes good on the pulley, but it started with Draymond's effort on the defensive end. One thing that was good to see was Klay get 2 jump shots in the fourth quarter. What in the world's going on? Klay getting shot attempts in the fourth? So that was good to see, but not better than this. Iguodala in the mid-post over a good defender, buttery soft jumper. Now, this is a slick little fake pass here from Steph to shake Porter off and open up the driving lane. But Steph, one thing, when he goes to the rim, he goes with such finesse and so soft that ultimately, when there's a collision, he usually gets the worst of it because he's not the aggressor as far as moving with explosiveness. But we dodged a bullet without a doubt on this one. And like some of you have speculated, I would not be surprised if he was held out in Atlanta against that G League roster. But take another look at this thing, and you see how he's leaning and falling away, and then so he wears the weight of Beal, whereas if he jumps towards Beal, then that collision is not nearly as dangerous or as physical. The championship DNA we're starting to see for longer periods of time throughout games ever since the All-Star break. Take a look at this defensive possession. The Wizards absolutely stifled, barely get a shot up. And I expect the plan is to start seeing it. We're seeing it for like half of quarters now, but by the end of the season, we should be seeing it for whole halves and then ultimately 48 minutes down the stretch. KD, the nasty rip through. We haven't seen one of those in a while, KD. He breaking it out for the hometown crowd. Oubre Jr., great challenge from Steph. Here's the outlet and really the put away. Look at Iguodala finish again on the left side. Use the right hand. But the fact that he's finishing, not hesitating, it just brings a tear to my eye, man. Game pretty much at hand. Watch Durant's extra effort here. He doesn't want to give up a bucket, right? It's a little different when you're playing in front of your boys. Look at him slam the ball down. The game, the game's pretty much at hand. I guess it's an 8-point game, but things are in control. But what I would have really liked to have seen was him put the hammer down on Bradley Beal off this play right here. Beal is out of his mind coming over to challenge this, and KD let up on him. Maybe just to be safe, but I would have sure loved to see the hammer put down on him. You see Steph with his head down. And like I said, I liked how he finished the game aggressively. Now, you're not going to have it every night, but I think ultimately the effort was there, and we're seeing that championship DNA tune up towards the playoffs. I'm out, y'all.